And you guys know what I'm talking about. Hack City.
Oh,
Seen
that thing
Hack
today.
City.
Got it?
Seen Hack City on that 6.7 I did that injection pump in.
Hack frickin' City.
You're talking about that transit you were doing today, right?
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you what. Yo, 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 yo. Oh shoot. I gotta make my window smaller.
I wasn't even paying attention, and I looked up and we were live streamed, and I was like, "Oh, I need to give it
Oh,
a grab. I should probably focus on what the task at hand is here."
oh, what up, homie?
I'm restarting my computer. I just woke
Hey,
up.
what is the matter with you? You little whine and pooch? Yes. Hack Tax. Do you know him? I think we've all seen the aftermath of such repairs. Ford Boss and Rain Man, and I'm sure everybody's heard and
What are you talking
seen.
about? I'm responsible for half of
I
those, man. Like
mean,
I'm the guy. You see what I did? I
uh,
fucking welded pieces of steel together and then cobbled the gap up. Like I'm doing
wait, are you the guy I saw on the internet that was using RTV to seal the oil filter?
it. You got to make sure it doesn't leak. 100%.
Wow.
I am the guy. That is me.
30-year veteran tech I worked with at Toyota would cut control arm bushings on Camrys and Corollas,
Corollas.
That's not really a
CVV.
hack job.
Or that,
That's an upsell job.
I think, yeah, he's talking about like cutting the rubber where they stretch. That
Yeah,
sell it as a torn bushing.
yeah, I could probably
Yeah.
see that. The one I had today was quite interesting. A transit was brought in, a 3.2 Puma, and it's not running correctly, obviously, but somebody had put an EGR cooler on it, and if anybody knows what the 3.2 Puma has on the driver's side of the engine, the intake manifolds there, on the back is the EGR mixer tube, and it goes into the intake manifold, and it has exhaust going through it. It's an exhaust part, EGR, exhaust gas recirculation. They straight up, what should have been an O-ring, decided to and RTV the whole surface. And I don't know how you guys feel about that, but that's not how that's supposed to do. That's not how it's supposed to be. Wait, you're not supposed to put sealant on rubber gaskets? Wait, you're already using a gasket? No, absolutely not. And then on the other side, we have the exhaust connection, and they decided to just use just a normal bolt, and you can see the clamp is all torqued up where I don't know how long it's going to last, but like, people, come on. You can get new stuff, and that's actually a one-time use clamp and nut. You're supposed to chuck that stuff. But we have Skidoo here, and he did the install of a DCR and pusher. He sent me some pictures, and talk about not being a hack. This is one of our local subs, and I used to back in high school. I would not like when people would copy what I did. It would just just bug me. And now it's so funny to see everybody doing the same stuff to the trucks that I do in the videos, and go out and buy the same tool setups that we have, the cart and the wobbles and the little oddball stuff to do the flare nuts and such. It's pretty cool. And to see you guys do quality work, not doing hack work. It's really cool to see the pictures you guys send me, the little upgrades you guys do, and especially for Skidoo. I mean, that was a big feat to take on, and it's running. It's got no leaks and no more CP4 DCR for the win. So I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that. Daddy D running on E. Good night, fellas. How many Zeeks are just chimed in here? How many of you would like to see a video on how to set up the bank's iDash, or I should say, what I view on my truck with the bank's iDash between regens and temps and pressures? A lot of guys were asking, how many windows do I have pulled up? Do I have all 8? Blah blah blah. But Zeke had a good idea with, maybe we need to do a setup video so people know, they just put the gauge in and say, okay, what do I watch? Well, Ray, he got a diff cover from Banks and actually has a temperature probe in there, so he can actually read his rear end temp and have that display on his iDash and stuff. So there's a lot of cool things. And actually, Zoodad showed me something I didn't know, and maybe Zeekster didn't know. If you go to your iDash and hold the top right buttons, I can't remember if it's up, down, or left or right, but the top right button, if you hold it, it actually goes to another page. I didn't know that. And you obviously can set different pages so you can, look at them on the fly. Regen background alert is cool. Oh, that's right. Very good. Very good, Tom. I forgot about that. He just reminded me. He sent me a link to a Banks video where they actually had a little threshold that you could turn on and off, and you would get an alert when your truck starts a regen. And a lot of guys have always said, hey, I leave it know when this truck's. I've had this truck for 3 years and it doesn't tell me. Well, the Banks products that you guys use are going to be some of the top-notch stuff that you're going to buy for your truck. The Pedal Monster, I have you guys coming back telling me, man, this is the best $300 I spent on my truck. The iDash is another complement to that because there's a lot of stuff that you can watch, a lot of information. I want to know what my EGTs are, and being that you can have this trigger to tell you when you're in a regen, I think is really smart, because then, if you have operator commanded regen turned off, or you're driving your vehicle with auto regen on, you'll be able to have that indicator and tell you actually, hey, oh, the truck just went into a regen. I think that's kind of interesting to have. And then hopefully the Derringer comes out, but Ray's got that on his truck, so you can add different thermocouples or pyrometers, sensors in the charge tubes. And speaking of upgrades, Ford Boss, what did you just do to this Maverick?
Okay, so it really hasn't been done yet, and we're testing it out. So we just put an S&B cold air intake on this Maverick, big boy too. It's one of S&B's really, really, really nice setups. It's got the big filter box with a clear top on it, and the big tube that goes all the way across the engine. It was sick. Big intercooler. Sent it up to Crystal Lake, Illinois, to the dyno with a Livernois tune. It made 305 horsepower and 325 foot-pound of torque in this all-wheel drive Maverick. And then today we started Fast Maverick sent us their comp turbo. I think it's SN1008. They upgrade the factory turbo to a 50 millimeter, and we're hoping to make I'm hoping for at least 360 horsepower, but we know the possibility could be up to 400 depending on, okay, baby. Good night, baby. So because everything that's being done is all modification. The customer knows that he assumes the responsibility of losing his warranty, because you will not have a powertrain warranty after doing stuff like this. It's too much modification. You're changing the way the vehicle operates in its natural like design state, and it's pushing that little 4-cylinder pretty hard. And he understands that's, being in there. I modified a couple veins on the block that are not used. I was able to figure out a different way from factory on how to slide the transfer case and stuff out of it and put it all back in with some simple modifications. The customer's super excited about it. And this thing, the way it is extremely fast. Like he said, I've been on the line with this all-wheel drive against like Mustangs and stuff like that, and I just launched this thing at like 3 or 4,000 RPM with all-wheel drive, and it just shoots out of the hole like car lengths ahead of cars that have way more power than me because of it all. It's pretty nice. It's a pretty cool setup.
For 4-cylinder, that's some power.
The guy that created the turbo design, like that was his idea to come up with this, have comp upgrade everything, factory connections, everything bolts on factory. He actually took a 2.3 liter EcoBoost and dropped it in his Maverick, and every single connection is all the same from the 2.0 and the 2.3 liter. The only thing that needed to be changed was, I think, the charge pipe or something like that, or something like you had to use the 2.3 instead of the 2.0 setup. And he's making like 440 horse on a stock transmission.
Wow. Wow.
Yep.
I mean, got to be doing not hack work if it if the shit's holding together.
He said, dude, these modifications I did sitting in my driveway and just taking my time. He's like, literally, I'm sitting on my butt on the driveway with jack stands, and I'm like slowly building this thing piece by piece by piece.
That's awesome.
It's pretty cool.
Let's see what we got in the comments here. Power stroking. Disappointed I can't get the heated steering wheel from my 150 Tremor from the service campaign they just launched. I made a short the other day talking about the 22 trucks that came out with no PM sensor, and the truck that we had over 150,000 miles on a 22. And now I'm starting to think, like, how has this truck been going through regen and not having a PM sensor? Like, the programming has just got to, like, obviously not look at it because it's not there. But it's kind of funny that, now they're going to come out with this recall that has you to install a PM sensor and reprogram the PCM, but they got something going on with the calibration, and
That doesn't surprise me.
you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
How does it know how full it is with no particulate matter sensor?
I know. I just find that kind of hard to
Pressure.
believe.
Still a pressure sensor on it.
And the exhaust gas temperature, front and rear.
I mean, they can infer particulate matter.
From
Their particulate matter is just checking, making sure that the DPF is doing its job.
so, what would it infer from looking at the DPF pressure sensor?
Yeah, they're just gonna infer it. It's gonna be like, well, whatever.
So it's not actually
Okay.
reading what it is. It's a guesstimate, right?
Okay, I could see that.
I mean, really, the PM sensor is just there to set a 2002 code. Really, all it's there for.
Well, that just tells you need a new DPF.
Yeah. That's
Hmm.
basically all it's doing, is checking for particulate matter. That's getting through the exhaust.
Isn't the PM sensor just there to verify that the DEF is functioning, the DPF is functioning properly and filtering out enough particles?
That's it.
I like it. Oh yeah,
So
you
when
just
the
corrected
2000
yourself, DPF.
So when the 2002 sets, it means that there's particulates
much.
coming through, right?
Too much soot going through it, yes.
Which means there's a crack in it.
Or yep, I was just gonna say or crack. Yep.
I've
Well,
had to do like 3 or 4 of those.
which that'll you can usually get the vehicle hot and put it in park or neutral and give it a good, good 3,000 neutral rev up, and you'll see a little, blackness come out the tailpipe, which that's not to happen. So
What does it do? Do that again? What does it do?
Mine does that. My Volkswagen does that on every red light.
I had one I had what was it, Cody? Like a 13 or something, like a TDI. It was a TDI that came in, and the guy had 72,000 miles on it, and he just got the light of death on the dash, and he was like, "Dude, this thing runs
What the
so
hell is
good."
that?
But the freaking DPF light popped up on the dash, and it kept saying something about soot load too high, soot load too high, soot load too high, and I was like looking at the codes in the computer, and I was like, "Dude, your soot load you've been driving this with this warning light on for so long that your computer has locked me out of doing the regen now. Now I have to try to figure out what this is all about." And I called the dealer up, and the dealer said, "What are the codes?" And he looked at the campaign, and he was like, "Yeah, he's fucked. He needs his DPF is no good anymore. He's been running it too long without letting it complete a regen. And there's a recall on this. Had he have been here like a month ago, we would have replaced the whole DPF unit and everything for him. But he's a month
Wow.
outside of his 10-year warranty."
That sucks.
Yeah.
You know
Such
what
a
that
nice car.
means?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
DEL, 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 DEL.
For what year was it?
I looked that up. I looked that up. I looked that up, Cody, and it said that the kit was 13, and then you had to find somebody to finish it.
I know a guy.
Yeah.
I know a
Yeah.
guy in Canada. He'll send
Yeah.
you a little box.
I
He did my car.
think it was it was a 13 or something like that, Aaron.
Hmm.
It's like a Jetta
Those things.
wagon.
With 70,000 on it, on a diesel, that's like a 500,000 mile. Fuck, more. When did things
Which-
go?
Once you
Over
open those
500?
cars, they'll go over. Yeah, but once you open those things up, kiss like 70 miles to a gallon on the highway.
Yeah, I mean that's the dude that came in here with the previous the Passat TDI. His was, had the weight loss program and everything done, and he went from 52 to 70, 72. And he said, "Man, I feel like I've probably gained 50 horsepower out of this. The thing is so free now, and I just love driving it." He said, "I've drive every 340,000 miles on this thing, and he said it runs like it's brand new." The turbo just puked when he came in, and he said I was 70 mile an hour on the highway, and I was just cruising, nice little spool coming from the turbo, and then all of a sudden he went, whoa.
I would love
He
to get
said-
one of the newer ones, but
He
they're
said
still
it
out of my price range.
just lost all power out of nowhere, and you could tell, oh, that turbo ain't making any boost. And he said, "Yeah, I'm gonna need a turbo. I got my life out of it." So right at about 340,000 miles, 340, 350, I think it was, we had to put all new turbo setup and stuff on it. And he said, "Now I'll drive another 300,000 miles."
I had to get an aftermarket turbo for mine. I kept putting impeller shafts in the exhaust.
No.
X-Man
Very
turbo.
The dealer DPF for that, the system said it was like $1,200 to $1,400. But it said, when I called the dealer up and said, if I choose to order this through you guys, how long is it going to take? And they said, if we can even get it. The last one, it said was available. It took us 3 months to get. And then for a shop like you, an independent shop, you might not see it for 3 or 4 months plus. It ain't even worth doing the job on the customer's car.
Are you having a hard time getting parts from your suppliers at all for like the more foreign cars you work on versus
Sometimes,
the Ford
yeah.
stuff? Or
sometimes we run into that, but not really. I mean, we go through WorldPack, and I can pretty much find whatever I need for the most part. A lot of people, what I notice, a lot of people are not driving as many newer vehicles now, and they're coming in with older Volkswagens and Mercedes and BMWs and stuff now. So that's hard for us to find parts for some of the older stuff because it's not as popular. And
Mhm.
I've got a 1983 Mercedes 380 SL right now. It's a
Oh,
V8,
shoot.
a 2.9 or 3.9 or so. I don't know what the hell it is. It's got a pre-injector for the cold start system that injects into, like, it's a special injection on cold start for it. And then underneath the car, it's got a fuel pump, an accumulator, and a fuel filter that all are fed by one line that are banjo fitting to like bubble flare fuel type fitting. And they don't make that line anymore. And that line is rotted out on the customer's vehicle. So I can't find a single manufacturer that makes that line. And I called the big warehouse out in Northern California, the Mercedes-Benz Classic warehouse. And if they don't have it, nobody's going to have the line. And they went through their database, tried to figure out who, and they were like, oh, looks like there's like more than 100 people in the note section of this particular part that have called like in the last few years trying to find this line, and they can't find it. So I ordered all the stuff to custom make it with banjo fittings to 4AN to banjo fittings to 4AN into a bubble flare line with an adapter. So if I
Oh.
can make this line, I might make like 10 of them and put them out for sale in like a little in a kit. I'll put them together for people so they can. But I'm getting a lot of older vehicles and that I can't even find parts for anymore.
That's a no good.
A lot of
That's a
Fords
no
though.
good.
A lot are you go by the lot now and it's like nothing but Mercedes, Ford, and Volkswagen right now. And it's guys are coming in. We got a construction company coming in with 2 Super Duties tomorrow that needs work on. One of them, the filler necks, whenever they go to put gas in it, some of the fuel's leaking out. The filler neck rotted out on their highway construction truck. And then the other Super Duty's like, I think it's a 6.4 and it's got a fuel leak. So I gotta fix that. But then I got 2 other F-150s with 10 R80s with CDF drum issues. And now I got to try to figure out how I'm going to get this new updated CDF drum from Ford so I can rebuild this transmission. And I guess a couple months ago, the CDF drum was updated. So there's a perch now inside, or there's like there's a stop. So the sleeve doesn't slide on you no more. So Ford has the new updated CDF drum, but the 2 dealers I called said, we're going through so many of these, rebuilding them. We're not selling these right now. If we can get them, we'll keep them.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Saving
So
them
I
for their customers.
Right. I can't even, so I don't know what I'm going to do with this customer. I don't know if I'm going to sell them the same already pre-built 10R80 brand new and it not have the updated part, or continue to wait and maybe eventually they'll sell me the part. I don't know.
I mean, I think it would be in his best interest to wait or, try to get the fucking updated part.
It's the one truck is so bad, man. You can't, he tried ordering a tune to see if it would fix it. That didn't fix it. So he wasted his money on that. Then he puts it in normal mode and every single gear has a lag shift. And then when you put it in sport mode, it will neutral out in the middle of an intersection so bad that the truck won't even move until you take your foot. Okay, I'll be up there in a little bit. You have to take your foot off the gas completely, let the car completely come down, the truck come all the way down to about 550, 600 RPM, and then it will catch up and let you go through the intersection.
Wow.
It's the transmission shot. Every single gear slip. It's shot.
I got one now, a 22 with 180,000. And it is, I don't know how to explain it. Like it'll go 1, 3, 8, 5, and then come to a dead stop. And I'm on the asphalt and you can hear the rubber on the dually tires, like forcibly coming to a stop, and I'm not hitting the brakes. Like, I don't think this is supposed to do this, man.
Something ain't right.
Oh my gosh. But here we go. It's on freaking back order, man.
Did you see the one that Mason put out where he split the main control body in half? You know how the solenoid actuates the plunger and the spring brings it back?
Yeah, I saw that.
One of them, the spring won't bring it back. It's like it doesn't have a spring in it. And they're coming that
Really?
way. Yeah.
And it was new. That's how it came new.
Brand new. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me go up here on the,
And that's all
Comments.
coming out of Livonia Trans.
that is gonna close or has closed?
They were talking about striking it at the beginning, but they didn't strike it for some reason.
I
But
don't know if you,
we may be seeing more on Friday. So
yeah, I
Oh,
don't know if
it's
you guys
good.
heard, and not in the news yet, but as of Friday, um, either noon or midnight, the Ford truck plant in Dearborn and Rouge, the Rouge truck plant is going to be shutting down.
So I'm trending quite a bit right now because of my opinions on this whole UAW thing and the strike on TikTok, because I understand it and I'm all for better pay for the employees. I'm all for them getting taken care of. But what I'm not for is it being passed off to the technicians and the consumers and everything else that have to answer for why, what's going on, why can't I get my parts, why is my vehicle stuck at your shop for months and months and months because of this. And then I look at, so me and Brandon from Performance Transmission, we did a bunch of research and we looked and said since 2008, the workers haven't been compensated or caught up at all. And I'm not against the union in that regard. I've had a lot of bad experience with unions because they say they're going to do a bunch of stuff and they don't ever follow through. There's a lot of stuff. This is all talk and you're paying in for all these dues and you're supposed to be getting represented, but you don't feel like you're actually getting represented. So I have a little bit of a bias towards them to begin with. But since 2008, the people have been losing money consistently, while the executives and the people that run the companies, the union and everything else have been slowly increasing massive amounts of money. So you mean to tell me that your people that run the companies and stuff that have been getting millions and billions of dollars in increase while the employees have been suffering, and that's a consumer problem? That's an internal problem that needs to be squashed right now. $7.1 trillion in shareholders profiting, yet you don't have anything for the workers that are working for you building these vehicles. That is not a consumer problem. That is a problem with the people that are running the company. So I don't understand why people aren't looking at the bigger picture here. They're just not seeing it. And then when Sean's on here, Sean talks about a lot of stuff that happens at the plant, all the stories and stuff that we hear, all the other stuff. Then you hear other people talking about all these horror stories and stuff that are happening at these plants, people getting away with stuff. Well, how about we step up across the board and we don't strike and make everybody else's life a living hell, and we start holding our leaders that are running the company accountable for what they're doing? I mean, I'm sorry, but I call a spade a spade. Anyway, I just think there's a better way to approach this. It's not like this. I'd start thinning out the people that are representing me and start putting people in place that represent me right to make sure I get what I get or what I need, what I deserve.
what I can see happening is Ford will take it, then they'll start automating most of their factories.
Yep. We were just talking about that. They'll start becoming more automated. It'll be passed off somewhere else and people will lose their jobs.
I mean, the lightning plant's mostly automated for the most part.
And it's going to keep getting that way and it's going to keep being that way. And the more people push the bear, and I'm not saying they're innocent, because they're not, but the more people kick and poke the bear, the more they're going to realize real quick that even though we do serve a purpose and we can catch things that sometimes a machine can't, but a fucking machine can make stuff pretty pretty much on point until something is screwed up and it needs to be changed. And by then it's not that big a deal to fix it. So people start pushing too damn much and they're going to push themselves right out of a job.
But you see what's going on with the lightning, right, Cody? I said it
Yeah.
earlier.
Yeah, they're having a
He just
quiet.
commented. Look at that.
They're having a quiet recall.
Did you see my video on the whole front axle disconnect actuator that me and Anthony kind of got to the bottom of and came up with like numbers and pictures and TSB and everything like that? When I shared some of that with some of the dealers I know, the parts departments, they were like, Are you kidding me? When did this happen? When did
Doing your job for you.
when did this happen? When did this whole TSB pop up? How come we weren't notified of any major change like this whenever the technicians come in to ask for this stuff? We don't even know what they're talking about anymore. So yeah, it's been pretty interesting, some of the stuff that's been going on kind of real slow and undercover and slick lately.
Somebody asked if Bob Dole was blocked.
You mean, did Mr. Subaru block Bob Dole?
Oh,
I don't know.
Wait, Bob Dole's in the house?
No,
Oh,
I haven't
Mr.
seen him.
Here. Yeah, Bob Dole was trolling Mr. Subaru, I think.
Oh,
That's
okay.
funny. He left me
Poor guy.
alone for a while.
It is easy to get banned by Mr. Subaru. You just talk to him. And then he'll ban you.
Well, I was talking to Brandon the other night about this whole situation. Brandon can actually call him up and talk to him. And Brandon was like, look, man, everybody has their opinion on him, and you're rightfully so. But if you knew the story on why he started doing what he was doing, you probably would understand more. And yeah, he has taken it too far. Yeah, he should not be blocking everybody that has something negative to say or like a different opinion or view on something. That is something that he's got in the habit of doing. And he said, I've told him he needs to kind of step away a little bit and stop taking social media so serious and just put out your content, man. Don't even worry about what's going on in the comment section because you're starting to get hated by a lot of people. Just put out your content, leave the comment section alone.
Yep.
And just do your thing because a lot of guys in this industry are starting to really not like you. So, and I'm hoping that he eventually does that. I guess what ended up happening in the past is somebody specifically, I think it was a specific person that started to come after him, started to like talk down and degrade him and stuff all the time. And that's kind of why he got in the mode that he got into by fine. If they're going to do that, I'm going to do it to other people. So I don't know. I don't even think about the guy no more. I hope he gets his stuff together and he's happy. You know, I just hope he's happy and successful and he just gets his stuff together.
Well said, sir.
He's just on TikTok, right?
No, he's got multiple channels. He's on TikTok. He's here. He's got his own Mr. Subaru like off the air kind of thing where he's like, I think he's got like a little farm or something like that where he shows using like some of his tractor equipment and stuff. He's got more than just TikTok and just his regular Mr. Subaru YouTube. He's got his own personal channel as well. Like it's not part of the tool business and stuff.
Somebody
Huh.
asked what's up with Scotty. Nobody cares.
Yeah,
Nobody-
nobody should care.
That guy I don't care about.
I think
You know what?
that's like a uniform understanding across this community.
So, well, here's how I see Mr. Subaru. Like, I never got banned by the guy, and I never felt the need to go and argue with him. I mean, I guess that's like what's popular with the dude. But at the end of the day, I realized he started catching flack because he was selling some kind of tools, or he had a tool deal going. Excuse me, words. And I'm just like, who cares? Let the man make his money. If you found a way to sell a product and make some money, who is anybody else to really hate on somebody?
Fair
Right.
enough.
It's let him make his money, man. He's just trying to get by like everybody else is. You have to be mad at a guy for selling some tools.
I need some context here. Who are we talking about?
Subaru.
Subaru what?
A
Mr.
guy named
Subaru.
Mr.
I don't know who
Subaru.
that is.
Okay, so he's a automotive guy on here. He's got a particular sound to his voice that people sometimes don't really care for, and he comes across as very, very condescending. He's the type of guy that will critique anything that you say, no matter how small or how large it is. Like our boy Flying Wrenches, he did a video on a funnel or something that he really liked, and I did a video on a funnel, the same funnel that was actually listed by a different company, but it was a completely different color and stuff that Vim didn't even make. Vim is the manufacturer of a lot of tools. I guess they're creators of a lot of tools for people. And because Mr. Flying Wrenches said, hey, this is where I found this product. They make this product or whatever he said. He liked the product. Who cares who made it? He liked the product and he wanted to show his audience about it. It's the same type of funnel that I did, and I sold the company out. And they still, to this day, don't have the funnels back in stock because I love this funnel. It has a screen in the center of it, and it's clear in the bottom, and it has a spring-loaded handle that you can put down inside the oil fill and let it go, and it holds itself while you're dumping the oil and stuff, and you can see it going through the screen, and it catches any kind of contamination. And they send a couple, you can take apart the center section and add some connections to it and stuff if you need to get back in like a coolant
cool.
jug. And it's a really cool funnel. It's a multi-purpose, pretty strong spring-loaded handle. Well, what's the flying wrench's name? I forget his name.
Mason.
Mason really liked that, whatever he was showing as well. Well, Mr. Subaru felt that he should correct Mason in a very condescending way, in a matter of making it seem like this stupid tech doesn't know what he's talking about. They're not the ones that make that funnel. Vim is the one that makes that funnel. Who fucking cares, man? Why did
It's
you
a
have
funnel.
to go? It's a funnel. The dude is showing his audience something
it
that
could
he
s-
likes.
It could be a scan tool, but was this on his own? Whose channel was this on? Like what was this on?
He stitched it from Mason's short and put it on his own channel.
See that? Why would you go through all that effort to pound your chest?
Yeah, and I don't get that, but that's what his audience knows him as now. And they've accepted that he's this condescending person that likes to talk down to people and correct people for no damn reason when it doesn't. Well, now the other tool creators have started doing the same thing he's doing and going after him, like the other tool displayers, that reviewers and stuff like that. And now they're going after him, and he's dropping comments and stuff on them in the middle of videos. And I just got tired of it. And I was like, I'm really fucking tired of your voice, for one. And number two, I'm tired of your attitude and how you talk down to everybody. We're all men, man. Why can't we just act like men? If I want to show this wrench that was made by, I say it was made by Craftsman, but you're like, no, that's some kind of Taiwanese something else. Okay, you might be right, but it says Craftsman on it, and I find that this is a really cool wrench, and I want to show my audience this because I think they may enjoy it too, and it worked for them. Why the fuck do you have to correct everything I say?
He
It's
Maybe
not
really
only that,
disliked.
it's
He
that
really
that
disliked Icon too.
Oh
that
my God.
funnel, that funnel, it's a really cool funnel. I had one when I worked at Nissan, and
Yeah.
I gave it to AJ because he still works there. But Mason likes the funnel. Cool. Who cares if it was made by a certain company? It makes Mason money. What does that
Yeah.
have to do with Subaru, Mr. Subaru?
Yeah.
And he's getting views off of that for being so condescending, but it doesn't matter. Like
Yeah.
you said, the wrench, we may not like the wrench that you like, but it makes you money, right?
Yeah.
Some of
And
us may like the wrench.
Have you seen any of Fluffy Mechanic, or like the
Yeah,
Mexican?
he called me the other Fluffy Mexican. He called me the other day.
Yeah, and I love the dude. The dude's awesome. He's funny. He gets the trolls that we have. When he needs to cut back at him, he does it. He's not like one of these people that are like, "Oh, I'm going to be this little saint and not address the trolls." He'll do it very tastefully, and he's in his shorts and stuff like that. And he doesn't care. He's another one that doesn't really care for Snap-on. He likes his Matco or whatever it is, or his Mac or something like that.
He likes Mac.
But he does
Matco.
really Matco, right?
Matco, yeah.
Yeah, and I like Mac. I love Mac tools. You see, I'm always wearing Mac shirts and stuff like that. I have
I like
like 20 different shirts. I don't really care for Snap-on like other people do, but I'm not about to go dog somebody and tell them, "Oh, you're bullshit because you like this tool or you like this truck or whatever." Man, let the dude turn some wrenches and make some money. If he wants, I tell you what, right now, you could go out and buy an $800 set of the new extended swivel head drive or whatever Snap-on wrenches and do a job, and I could do the same job in the same amount of time with $175 set of flex head professional grade Icon ones, and I end up with more money than you. But I don't really care what you're using. That's your prerogative. I don't give a shit.
I like
There's a-
that's like
there's a-
I like
Go
Mac. I like Matco, but I have a mixture of everything. I got Cornwell,
Right.
I got Matco, Snap-on, I have Pittsburgh. Like
Yeah,
it just depends on what I'm using it
Pittsburgh,
for.
Yeah,
I like that.
Icon.
Look,
I like that cheap
Icon.
stuff.
But
Even my earbuds are Matco, man. Like
Oh, damn.
so.
but it's a thing that people love or whatever. That's their own thing. It's their own prerogative. Why but that's what his channel is built on now. So people know he can't stop doing that type of content and tearing into people because that's all he does anymore.
Maybe he's
You
upset
know what?
because he doesn't have a community like this.
I don't know.
You,
I just
you know what else I don't like is when somebody else, like another technician, downs another technician for the toolbox that he has.
yeah.
Yeah,
that's
I
ridiculous.
can't stand
know-
that at all.
It holds tools just like your $20,000 one does.
Yeah, who
Yeah.
cares? Like it used to be like a competition, like who's got the biggest, most expensive box. But I just see that as a race to. It's like the people that have to drive the latest and greatest cars every single year. They trade their car in all the time. That they're not ahead at all.
I mean, who
They're not.
cares? It holds the tools and you get the job done.
Yeah.
Who cares?
I
I
mean,
mean, technically you could use it as like a negotiating chip if you're interviewing. You know, hey, I got this and that and that, and I've been doing this so
True.
long. But I got X amount of tools, so you could kind of put up front like you got all this stuff going
Yeah.
on, get a better pay raise because you got a picture of your brand new, you know, whatever $18,000 Snap-on box.
really.
I
Do
mean,
you know how to use the tools
I,
inside?
I walked into Dundee Ford with a push cart 5.5, 6 years ago, and barely $2,000 worth of tools, and I had to restart my life. And I walked in that shop because of word of mouth from another manager that I was the shit that they were looking for, and they hired me at full rate right in the door with a $500 push cart box.
What I think's funny, you guys may have seen it on Facebook. It's a Snap-on ad that I keep getting. Okay, so what? Snap-on. It shows 4 toolboxes with a dump truck sitting on top of them.
Oh yeah.
I remember that. Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, because I just park dump trucks on top of my toolbox every day.
Just in case you needed to, though.
I mean, yeah,
that-
I know
that-
it'll hold
wanted
it.
that
to
off
show how strong the box was. They even had a disclaimer in the thing. They're like, we know you're not going to park a dump truck on our toolbox, but
So we just want to show you.
we build it really good. They do build a good product. I mean,
Yeah.
They have a great product. Their wrenches are made from a better material, like the coating and stuff on it. They say they last longer than other wrenches and stuff. I will not. But you know what? I would say Mr. Subaru's probably one of the main reasons in the last 6, 7 years why I haven't touched a single Snap-on product, just because I now directly think of Snap-on and I associate Snap-on with him when it
Mhm.
shouldn't be that way. It really
That's
should
why I
not
don't
be
eat
that
Subway
way.
anymore. Wait, what?
Oh, I caught that
My-
right up front that time. That
my-
wasn't a. I didn't have my slow blonde moment on that one.
My
Slow
favorite kind of
blonde moment.
pliers. My favorite kind of pliers is the Knipex or Nipix, however you say it.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Knipex.
I love those pliers.
Yeah.
I actually got yelled at for using them incorrectly on my channel. And first off, there is no way to incorrectly use Knipex. Like there's just
That-
like
That's $120 in your
that's a
hand
new
right
way
there.
of, what did you say, Knipex? That's
Yeah.
a whole new way
I
to
got one
pronounce it.
is that the double one? I got that one. No. I got let me go get my cable cutters. I gotta show you these.
I love these.
Everybody reach for some pliers.
I'm nowhere near any pliers. I'm at my
Alright.
kitchen table.
I've got a
You're still
crusty
working. You still working that metric adjustable?
Yeah, I gave up on it, man. It just sits there now. It's a paperweight.
Everybody's grabbing tools. I fucking. What would life be like without tools? Like I had to assemble the chair that I'm sitting in before the live stream. Like we all work with tools and we fix stuff. Okay, now you take somebody who sits behind a GD desk all day or who worked at the perfume aisle at Macy's. This person's never used a tool. No, I'm not talking about the utensils and your freaking eyeliner applicator. Like,
Check these out.
whoa,
Those are cable cutters.
Like those.
those are heavy duty.
These things are like they changed everyone at all my parts pullers, all my dismantlers, they all have these. And it changed everything. Now I will say they do get dull after you use them on like for cutting through entire harnesses in one. You know. But
I have an M12 version of those.
but a powered one?
Yeah.
What the hell do you need that for?
Jaws of life,
Because it-
man.
It's Milwaukee, and that's why.
Oh, fair. Fair.
He does work with some heavy duty stuff, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, yeah, these things, they make the shorter ones, which are just half this jaw. Those are the ones that I actually recommend. These are just overkill. These are like what I use when we're like ripping harness wire out of cars with the loader, and my guys there. Anyway, they cut through like battery cable and the giant like odd gauge stuff pretty easily.
Nice.
But they do get dull, and
That
then they
is.
get very mad when you return them for warranty when they're dull. So I usually break them, and then they're like, "Oh, okay."
Somebody sent me a screenshot of being in Subaru's comment section while he was live streaming and was like, "Hey, what do you think about that Ford boss not liking you because of your attitude and stuff?" And he kept asking the same question over and over and over again until Subaru answered him, and he was like, "What? Who's that guy? I don't know who that guy is." And then he kept completely denied, completely denied knowing who I was. And
Absolutely.
then Check Engine Chuck on TikTok, he's got what does Check Engine Chuck have, like 300,000 followers or more or something like that? He's got a big presence on TikTok. He was like, I used to see that dude's stuff all the time, and I never had a problem with him. Like, I understood that was his thing, and that was how he presented himself, and that was his attitude and stuff. I accepted him for that because it never really bothered me that much. So I'm like, he was like, Chuck was like, I'm secure in my own way. So I never really took offense to what the guy was saying because, yeah, he is right whenever he's correcting people, even though he's got the wrong attitude towards it. So I never really had a problem with what he said because if you're right, you're still right at the end of the day. And he said, I went to go click on his stuff because I haven't seen it in a while and I'm blocked. And I never had an issue with the guy. Why would he block me? And I've always supported his stuff, always clicked like on his videos, and now I'm blocked by the guy.
Hmm.
And he said, this is a message that I want to get back to him. I don't think what you're doing and how you're treating other technicians in the field, especially the ones that do support you in this manner, is good for you because now you're creating a lot of enemies. So you probably should stop doing that and just start being a part of the family and supporting each other, man, instead of trying to fight with each other and talk down to each other. It just doesn't make any sense.
I just don't
Oh.
understand. I don't understand. Like, no one's ever gotten anywhere by being an asshole.
No.
Like, you may win a small battle, but you've lost the ability to fight from that point on. So it just makes more sense to work together.
That's what I mean. I've had people tell me, hey, you were kind of that, I've had subscribers that have been following me for years that I treat like almost like they're my brother because I've done stuff with them, not just, talking to them online, but I went out to breakfast with them on Saturday or something like that we became friends. And they've told me, hey, you were a little kind of shitty in that video, dude. You probably next time don't be so harsh or whatever, because that's kind of put offish towards other people. Maybe reformulate how you're saying things a little bit, because that would upset a lot of people for no reason. You're kind of an asshole. And I was like, you know what? You're probably right. That didn't come out right. And I go back and I watch the video and I'm like, I'm going to fix that next time. I'm not going to explain it that way.
Yeah. I mean, I hired one of my viewers. So
Really?
yeah, it works out
That's
great.
pretty cool.
I
Yeah.
hired one of mine. Jay, if you see somebody in my comment section, Jay, the speaker, he's a new guy that never has touched a wrench in his life. And his father has been a mechanic for like GM or something like that, almost his whole life. And his father never taught him how to work on anything. So he was like, my dad always just fixed everything. So could I come work for you and like part-time and you show me like things around the shop, and I don't have a problem with sweeping and taking out the garbage or any of that. And you can like help me get on jobs and learn things. And I turn him loose. He'll come 2 or 3 days a week and, hey, why don't you work with Axel today? He's going to be doing a cylinder head, or go do timing chains with him on this. Or, I hired one of my own subscribers too.
Yeah. I mean, however you meet the right people, that's all that matters. It doesn't, I mean, as long as they're the right person,
Yeah.
just gotta treat everybody like people. That's it.
Yeah.
$6.40 for diesel in Bay Area.
Good Lord.
Seriously?
Oh,
I'd be finding a new gas station in a new area.
I mean, yeah. There's consequences to where you live.
Yeah.
409 and Tennessee.
I don't know what it is here. I don't even look anymore. I close my eyes and I just stick the card in the machine and pull it out. I'm like, please, 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 please. Okay.
I'm gonna buy a 2,000 gallon diesel transfer tank, and I'm gonna order diesel delivery and buy it in bulk so I can get it for like $3 a gallon. Just gotta buy a crap load of it at one time.
Yeah.
It's
And
gotta
it,
be.
goes-
man.
it doesn't go bad like gasoline, so
We should open a gas station. That way we can get free fuel.
I will say a friend of mine opened a gas station and it's I don't know how it is there, but it took 11 months for him to be able to pump gasoline.
What?
Dealing with the tanks the in-ground tanks, the EPA, he had to have like liners installed in the tanks because they were over a certain age, even though they inspected perfectly. It was like a huge disaster. I mean, it was worth it in the end, but pass. It's just like when they take 5 years to do a highway project, how many people died before the benefit of the highway project?
Right.
Like, hey, we made it safer, but there were 14 accidents a month that were fatal in this area because
Well,
of construction.
we didn't have the budget available at the time.
Oh yeah, it's always something like that.
I don't ever want to hear budget again from anybody that holds office. I'm so tired of the double standard of the budget. We don't have a budget. Man, it's like your company makes record profits and then you get rewarded a pizza party. Come on, man.
Pretty much,
Don't
exactly.
talk to me about a budget when we just lose billions of dollars for no reason. Just it's
You
gone.
talk about highway projects. I-4 in Central Florida is always under construction. It's been
Like
under
I-
construction for like the past 20 years.
That's like I-35 in Texas.
Oh,
Goes
Well,
from
yeah,
Dallas all the way down
they're
to Houston.
building it now. I mean, they're like what's happening with I-4 is like we're allowed to drive on it while they're building it. They're not even done with it yet.
It's
So
it started
I-4 has-
construction and never stopped.
I-4 has never not been under construction.
yeah,
If you guys think you have it bad, you should come up here by me and Crowdy.
Nope.
Every freaking highway you jump on is just full of fucking construction that was supposed to be done 20 years ago. The tollways should have paid for everything years ago, yet they're still taking tollway money. They're still tearing up the roads, and you can't get anywhere without running into it. Every freaking where. It's a disaster here.
Yeah.
What was your dealer's Christmas bonus if you got one? Nothing?
$100, $50.
Oh my God.
If you
Ugh.
got one.
Yeah. We were told that we were going to start getting bonuses every month if we cleared a certain shop amount, and we never did. We never got them. It was just all a bunch of talk to see if they could get more out of people, and then it never happened.
See, that's not the way to get more out of people.
that's a way to make everyone quit at their earliest opportunity.
Yeah. If you set an unattainable goal, it's just you're just gonna piss people off.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those things. If it would have been, outside of the constraints of COVID time frame, but during COVID time frame, while you do something like that, knowing that traffic is slower and people aren't coming in as much, it's probably the wrong time to try to put pressure on people to do more when there's not
Mhm.
more.
Yeah, how are you gonna make cars come in the door? A lot of my
Man.
friends who worked at dealership.
Those
They went home at 2:00 every day.
every dealership took so much of that PPE money from the government.
Oh
during
yeah.
that shutdown. They took so much money, man. They didn't even need to have people on payroll for 8 months. Didn't even need it.
And it didn't even really make it to the people.
Oh no.
Oh,
Every business everywhere kept all that money.
I mean, I hired 3 people.
Yeah.
Most businesses kept all that money.
Mhm.
The greedy
Well,
ones kept all the money. The smart ones took the money and used it to make more money.
Yeah.
And
Here's how-
a lot of, go ahead.
I was going to say what I found irritating was, keeping the employees there, not giving them bonuses or anything. Oh, it's not in the budget. Sorry, Ray. Or us to give you a raise, but yet you're giving a $5,000 sign-on bonus to a new hire.
Yeah.
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 Don't worry about the guy that's already working here. Let's give 5,000 to somebody new.
Oh, I just feel like that for a long time they just felt like no one would ever leave. Like the paycheck was
Mhm.
enough. But I feel like the tides have changed in the last 4 years.
I agree.
People are like, yeah, I can go do my own thing. That doesn't like I want to be here because I enjoy the environment and I don't enjoy the environment. You could fix cars anywhere.
Right.
I mean,
Our company,
there's literally broken cars in every square mile of this country. You could start your own shop. You could walk into any independent, any dealership, and if you have a competent resume, you can get a job. That's it. There's not a single shop that's like, no, we're full. There's not a single shop in the country like that.
It's
Even
because
dealers-
we have tools and we know how to use tools.
yeah,
Well,
it's a
that's
good
exactly
looking
what it
Crescent
is.
Ridge.
Even dealers that you don't even have certifications in. I had calling me up when we're looking for work. We're looking for work. We're looking for a mechanic, and I'm like, I'm not Chrysler certified. It don't matter. Come on.
Yeah,
Wow.
They were.
Some
They'll get you
some
certified.
Ford certs carry over to Chrysler.
Yeah, I mean,
No
I'm just
kidding?
a lot of
Yeah.
them were like at one point in time that might have mattered, but not right now. We need
No.
techs that bad. Like, you don't have to be manufacturer certified. We'll take care of all that. Just come on board. How many times
Dealer-
have I heard? How many
If
times
I-
have I heard we'll take care of that and it not
My
happen?
company, if I refer somebody after 90 days, they give you $3,500 for each person you refer to work.
All right, let's do it.
Hey, I'll come get a job there if you split it with
And then you'll quit.
Stay
Dealers-
90 days.
On day 91.
And they
Dealers
Yeah.
screw over mechanics on warranty work.
Erica.
That's why I don't do it.
what'd she say?
dealers screw mechanics over on warranty. It's not the dealers that are screwing
Yeah,
over on warranty.
it's the
dealers-
manufacturer.
The dealer wants as much money as possible using that mechanic for his skill set to get that warranty work done, but the manufacturer doesn't want to pay the
No.
dealer for that mechanic skill set. It's not the
You-
dealer.
You guys remember that dash I pulled out of that 23? The owners here in the comments. That's $100,000 truck. I had to take the dash out and it had to be put back 100. No panels could be loose, no clips
What?
could be
Oh, extra
left
screws?
dangling, no screws. And I spent a day and a half on it and took my time, wiped down my fingerprints and vacuumed out everything. I wasn't going to put it all back, nasty. And I get paid 5.7 hours.
Yep.
For a day and a half worth of work.
Forget the warranty work. And I don't want to
On a
hear,
s-
oh, you'll make it up on the next one. No.
No.
It's
The
this
next
one
one's
right
gonna be
now.
another dash where you're gonna have to spend another day and a half. doing it.
Exactly.
I used to have
There
Exactly.
will be a next one. There will
That
be
truck's
another
going to be 150,000 on the next one.
I used to
Mm.
have a service man. I used to have a service manager that you would use that mentality, and he would say, "Hey, my uncle's coming by, and you're really good at doing this repair. Do you think maybe you could do this repair on his truck and get him on his way?" So I'd do the repair on his truck and then send him on his way, and I'd be like, "Wait a second, how come I don't have anything booked out for this job on this day? There's no hours here." And I'd go be like, "Hey, man, what's this? I didn't get these hours for this job." "Oh yeah, well, I'll try to hook you up on the next one so we can make up for." So you mean I'm always working in arrears?
What
I'm
the?
I'm always working I'm always trying to work another. I've worked that one job. Now I got to work another job for you to try to catch me up on something I've previously already done.
Yeah,
How does
no.
that doesn't make sense to me. Pay me for what I'm doing. And a lot of times when they use that mentality, oh, you'll make up for it on the next one. No, I shouldn't have to do that. I'm doing the job now, not on the next one. Because I'm consistently going to be behind, and your whole next one snowballs and rolls into another one and into another one and then they use this mindset. Well, that's why you just screw the customers on the CP pay so you can make up for the warranty. It doesn't work that way, Jack, because when you're an honest technician, you don't do shit like that. I don't get this mentality the way the manufacturers can get away with it, but the customers got to get. They get the full boat, and you're supposed to screw them over to make up for what the manufacturer is not doing. That mindset is so flawed.
Look at Song Yan. I'm a Chrysler Tech too. I recently did a Jeep Gladiator just to replace the turbocharger. Warranty called for 6.5 hours. Took me 2 days. That's not cool, man.
Yeah.
It's not.
That's not cool.
And then what happens is, so that guy that took 2 days to do that, he gets 2 of those in a week, and then he gets
Oh.
talked to about why his time's not up.
Exactly.
It gets 13 hours, and
How
why
come you're
aren't
not
you
trying
at
harder?
40 or 50 hours? Yeah.
Yeah,
Why aren't you
and then all of a
collecting
sudden
guaranteed?
everybody they go from a 40-hour guarantee to a 32-hour guarantee, and then people throw a fit.
So flat rate means 5.7 hours is all you get paid for. 12. Flat rate can either be good or it can be bad. If it took me 1 hour to pull that dash, I'm getting paid 5.7 and I'm on to the next one. If that dash takes me 2 days, I'm not getting paid 2 days worth of work. I'm getting paid 5.7.
Yep.
Ford says what you're getting paid on everything that you take off that truck. And sometimes it's not fair.
And that's why certain techs specialize in certain areas. You'll see more, like Rich did a lot of engine stuff. Guys have suspension stuff. Guys have Aaron, you don't like doing transmissions. You have a transmission guy.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying? So that's why a lot of us will specialize in a certain area, because we do these things and we get good at that. So we can kind of beat the clock on most things. Most things, I say. But pulling a dash, that was a 23, said?
Mm-hmm.
First time pulling a dash on a 23.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the problem is you can't attack it like the previous model year because they change something every year.
Change it, yeah.
And then so you have to take your time. You have to read. I mean, the next time, maybe it'll take you half the time, but you're still going to be okay. So it takes you a day. Okay, a day.
Brother, when I was editing this freaking video, I had to relive this whole. I'm like, I cannot believe how many freaking pieces of plastic there were just getting out. Oh my goodness. I just kept pulling plastic after plastic after plastic after panel after panel. Like, oh man. Dude.
When the Takata airbag recalls first came out, I was just starting to get my feet wet with some of the recall stuff at the dealership. And my service manager said, I want you and Joe. You're the two guys that are in your 30s. You're not young, you're not old. You guys can handle the bending up and down, in and out, laying sideways on your back, upside down, everything else, working on these dashes. You two are going to get good on these because they're going to pay good money. And I want you two guys to be my main guys. What about everybody else? No, it's going to be you two guys. So when we did them, when we first started, you get like 2.7 hours or 2.6 hours or something like that on one and 2.7 on the other. If you got to take apart a couple extra trim pieces.
Are you talking about like the Fusion, the 12 Fusion?
It's the, what is it, 10, 11, and 12?
Yeah, dude, I could do those so quick because I did so many of them. Like I got really good at those. But I think it's 2.7 hours.
Yeah, it's like 2.7 for one. And it's either 2.7 for one and 2.8 for the other, because on the Lincolns, some of the Lincolns you had to do it too, but you had to pull the trim off up around the left side register vent coming out of the dash, where you didn't have to do it on the Fusions, and there was an extra step in there. They gave you like another 10th. But anyway, the story is this. I was terrible at them. When I started it, it took me like 7 or 8 hours to do my first dash because I was dreading going into it. And then the next time it took me 5 hours. And the next time it took me 2 hours. And the next time it took me an hour and a half. The next time it took me 50 minutes. And the next time I got to a point where me and my coworker would race at the same time. We would start the Takata airbag recall. And 39 minutes and I'm flying. Zoom, 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 zoom. This bolt, that bolt. Zip, zip, zip. I got all my tools laid out. I'm pulling the center console out. I'm undoing this before I'm even getting this out. And shit's flying out of the car. It's like, and my boss was like, wait a second, you just did that 2.7 hour job in 45 minutes. Well, yeah, I did 39 minutes, or it's the fastest time that I seen at my dealership was 39 minutes. But then we hired another guy. He had a different method of doing it, but he would never show us. And he never got to prove to us. He says he could do them easily in 30 minutes, but he did something completely different than what the time called for. He would loosen the dash, pull the dash forward, leave part of the bolts loosely in on the driver's side, pull the passenger side kind of
Mhm.
out with the bolts out of it, and he'd take a 2x4 and shove it behind the main bracket, and then he'd squeeze his skinny self, long, lanky self up underneath there, and he'd reach his hands up behind the dash, and he'd do stuff. And I was like, dude, no. Nah.
I did
None of
it.
what-
That sounds like that's my kind of guy right there.
I did it. You got the two bolts at the bottom of the console where they mount, it's about like straight down the
Yeah.
dash. Move the
Yeah.
console all the way. You got bolts on each side. Once I got everything out, I just grab it, pull forward, and just lean it. Reach
Yeah,
in
that's
there,
how I do it. That's
do what
how
I
I
gotta
do
do.
it.
Shove the new one back in there. Shove the dash back in.
That's
I mean,
how I
I
would
was-
do it.
I was doing transit and fuel injection systems in 4 hours.
What do they pay?
10 on the recall.
Yeah, I mean, it's so.
I mean,
so-
I did like 50 of them in a fucking row.
Yeah,
So
once
to-
you do
so-
them so much, yeah.
to get to
Yeah.
Anthony's point that he made, which is spot on. Any monkey can stand here and do the same thing over and over
Mhm.
and over and over again and get really, really, really good at it. But you can't take that same person that specializes now in that repair, because now you've become not only just a good at it or a specialist at it, you can be considered that's a guru at it. That's somebody that can tell you where every single part, how it goes back together, what the fault is, because they've already encountered it and they've done it so many freaking times. I had people calling me up on the phone, other technicians from other dealerships. Hey man, I got that dash thing done and I saw your video of how to remove everything and put it back. I got this light on the dash now. What happened? Oh, did you plug the two connectors back in over in the passenger side footwell there? Oh man, dang it, man. Or did you plug the main connector in the center console? Because that would be what would set that. Oh,
Been
frick,
there, done
man.
that.
Yeah, I've already made that mistake too many times to where now I can help. But it's not fair to base that standard that Anthony's good at it, or I'm good at it, or Cody's good at it, or Aaron, or anybody, because we've literally seen it freaking dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of times to where we're that good at it. You want me to take another tech in the shop that does nothing but stand up work, like a guy that does nothing but engines, and put him on an interior to do a Takata airbag recall? They are livid. They come unglued.
Oh yeah. Well, see, the other problem with that is if you keep doing them and they pay 2.7 and you can do them in 35, 45 minutes, then all of a sudden they do a time study.
Yeah.
No, you run time on it.
Yeah, you just run your.
Oh,
I would
man.
I would
But
let
we
the time
always
run.
run the clock.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you run,
Let
you
them
run
know
your
you
time
figured
on
it
it.
out.
You run your time on it. I knew everybody was going to say that, but some places have got away with that where they actually don't force you to run your time on it no more. You can do the job, write it up, do your story, put your clock in, your clock out time right on your home computer, and it looks like you've already run the time anyway. You don't have to run the time. And even at that, they used to say all the one-time use bolts, everything's got to be turned back in or you'll
Oh
be
my
flagged.
gosh.
But then they got rid of that. They said there was a bulletin that was put out that said now they're not really enforcing it so much anymore and stuff. They're not making people do that. So they started becoming more lenient there towards the end before, like the last year that I was working for Ford. But there's only one state that I know of that was protected to actually make sure that the technicians were getting paid for what they did, and that was the shitty state of Illinois. They put an act in that says, all technicians, TSBs, recalls, SLTS times on the manufacturer's database gets paid 1.5 times the stated time. So Aaron's dash, where he only got paid 5.7, I would have made 2.85 extra on that job. Had I had done the same job and took the same amount of time, I would have got almost an extra 3 hours because of the new law that's passed in this state, which they need to pass in all the states.
Yeah.
I would never turn in the one-time use bolts, but I would take the airbag, write the old number on my ticket, write the new number on my ticket, put the old one in there, take it to the parts department.
I used to do the same thing until my service manager came out and he said, I know it's small, but because of the volume of what you guys do with these airbags, you don't need to record both numbers. And I
We
was like,
had to. I don't know why.
I put both of them on there in case I don't want to take that out of that dash again.
Yeah.
So I put both of them on there to cover my ass in case you or Ford or somebody needs to see something. I'm not going to not put both of them on there.
Most of the time when the service advisor gave me the ticket, he would already go get the airbag and put the number on it. He would look at it and then put the number on the RO for me. And then I just write the old one on it, send it, go
Give
get
that
my
guy a
warranty.
raise, man. None of my service advisors would ever do that. Never. Never.
because I was so quick at doing them. So it was, I mean, get my warranty stamp and see you later.
Bye-bye. Well, great conversation tonight. I think I'm going to end it here. We're going to get into the the after party, but make sure to stay tuned to the channel. Friday we have a masterpiece again for you guys, Illumiduties. I love them. They're my favorite. And I love showing you guys how to work on them. Make sure to check out the late guys. Cliffy Whiffy, Rain Man, Ford Boss, Crowdy's still alive here. DS, I don't know where DS is. I left him on the back of that truck after we got lunch, and he may still be sleeping. So I hope he's going to be all right. I haven't talked to him today. But as always, I thank you guys for watching.